So how do you do it? How do you actually survive first year MBBS and still find time to enjoy life? Because to be honest, it's not that easy. I mean, compared to the rest of the MBBS, it's quite simple, but still not easy. Hi, I'm Karthik, a third year MBBS student at VPMC Nashik, and today I'm gonna break down these 8 different aspects of first year that, if you follow along, will help you not only survive but also thrive in first year MBBS. I'll have timestamps included at the bottom, so feel free to skip to whichever part you like. Let's start with managing your expectations. Now, I know that you just cleared one of the most competitive exams in the entire world, but if you're thinking that you're gonna pull up to college looking like this, then I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's just not gonna happen. Doctors are meant to look and behave a certain way, and first year professors are very strict about this type of stuff. Instead, you're gonna be looking something like this. This is what a first year MBBS student is supposed to look like. Formal clothes, top to bottom, apron, no beard, no fancy haircuts, just exactly how our mother used to dress us up for school. With that out of the way, let's come to the essentials. These are the things that you will need in first year. Apron or your college uniform, get 2 of them because you're gonna need them every single day. A dissection kit consisting of sharp scissors, blunt scissors, forceps, tooth forceps, scalpel, blade, and gloves. Now, instead of buying gloves every single day, just get a glove box. You'll also need a bone set to study bones. I recommend buying them from your seniors and selling them to your juniors next year at lower prices. Please don't scam them. You'll also need H&E pencils for your histology diagrams. I know that they're kind of expensive, but don't use color pencils thinking that your teachers won't find out, because trust me, they will find out. You also need a physiology kit consisting of about 30 lancets, stethoscope, reflex hammer, tape, and a torch. Now, I know that you've worked very hard to get here and you can't wait to put that apron and the stethoscope around your neck, but don't go all out and buy Littman. You really don't need it. Instead, get something decent like this microtome. Now, you're gonna use the dissection kit every single day, but on the other hand, you're not gonna use the physiology kit every single day, but you're gonna need the physiology kit throughout your MBBS. So what I recommend is don't buy everything straight away, but just keep buying things as you need them. Now let's move to the most important part, that is the academics. In first year, you have 3 subjects: anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. As for books, this is what the teachers expect us to read, but in reality, this is all you need to pass your university exams. And it's possible to read all of this in just one night, just like how we did, but I don't really recommend it. Instead, you should read at least this to become a somewhat decent doctor. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna mention everything, including the gold standard, my recommendation, and the bare minimum to pass. For anatomy, Grey's Anatomy is the gold standard, but if I'm being honest, you're not gonna open this book more than twice. So what I recommend is you buy BDC. There's a reason why this book is so famous and everyone swears by it. And I also think that it's more than enough for your exam preparation. Now, some of my friends used Grigoriy MBBS lectures and his notes, but I personally never used them, so I can't really say much. For dissection, Cunningham's manual for dissection is the gold standard, and it's also your hall pass into the dissection hall. If you don't carry it, you're not gonna be allowed to sit inside. It's a really good book with great illustrations, but sadly, no one really reads it, and I don't think you will either. For histology, I recommend C.B.P.D, and you'll also need a histology manual that'll help you with your diagrams. For embryology, I highly recommend Gangane. It's a very small and concise book. At the same time, it's also very easy to understand. It's just amazing. For neuroanatomy, you can either stick to BDC or you can go with Vishram Singh. I personally went with Vishram Singh because it has amazing diagrams that are very easy to understand and very easy to draw in your exams. And the book itself is quite easy to understand as well. I also recommend getting Knitter's Atlas so that you can visualize the anatomy better. You don't have to buy the book, you can just download the PDF from any of the less shady websites. Or if you want to visualize anatomy in 3D, you can download these apps like 3D Human. For physiology, the gold standard is Guyton and Hall, and I recommend Guyton and Hall. It's a really amazing book. It's like a novel. Once you start reading it, it's a lot of fun, but you won't really remember anything if you just read it once. So what you should do is use this book to build your concepts of physiology as the starting point of all of the major clinical subjects that you'll face down the line. For exam preparation, you can use AKJAN or JJ Notes like me, but absolutely do not use Sembulingam. I don't know why, but the professors really hate this book. For biochemistry, Harper's is the gold standard, but I've not seen a single person ever read this. Instead, get Vasudevan. I think it's the gold standard in India. It's a really amazing book, and pair them with Zamrukar notes for exam preparation and you're absolutely good to go. You know about the books, now let's talk about how you should study these books. Honestly, first year syllabus is so vast that it's practically impossible to read all of the books and memorize all of the content, which is why what you should do is identify all the important topics. For the medical colleges in Maharashtra, we have something called as the Bhalani that every student absolutely worships. It is a PDF of all the important topics that are frequently asked in the university exam. Your college may have something similar, so just ask your seniors. After you know all the important topics, mark them in your textbooks and read them and build your concepts first. Simultaneously, keep making notes and keep revising them regularly. When exams come, just revise your notes, and if you haven't made your own notes, you can use any of these high yield notes I just mentioned, like JJ Notes, Zamulkar, Jori, etc. One thing to note is that in med school, you're on your own, so you don't really have the sense of urgency to actually study until one night before the exam. But please try to study for at least 1 hour every single day. This will make sure that you're not suffering right before your exams. That's the theory done, let's move to the practicals. Practicals in anatomy are of 3 types: dissection, histology, and bones. As a senior, I request you to attend all of the dissection practicals because this is your only chance to see what you're actually studying. Once this is over, you'll never get the same hands-on experience until you become a surgery resident. Histology is the study of tissues. Here you'll be using a microscope to study the structure and the anatomy of various different tissues, of various different organs at a cellular level. And then you have bones. Pretty easy. You'll be taught about the various muscle attachments and the various surfaces of various different bones. In physiology, again, you have 3 types of practicals. You have hematology, experimental physiology, and clinical examinations. In hematology, it is all your blood-related stuff. So remember how I told you to buy some lancets? You're going to use those lancets to prick yourself, and you're going to use this blood for various experiments, like determining RBC count, WBC count, bleeding time, clotting time, etc. In experimental physiology, you'll have to learn about various different graphs obtained from animal experiments. Now, animal experiments are banned, so you don't have to actually perform those experiments yourself, but still, you will have to study about the graphs. And the last part is the clinical examinations. Here you'll be assessing various different systems under normal physiological conditions. You don't want to miss these. Now, biochemistry practicals are very simple. It's just simply estimation. All you do is put the data in a formula and calculate. Now that you're oriented to your theory and practicals, this is what your ideal schedule in med school should look like. You're gonna have college from 9 to 5 with a lunch break from 1 to 2. In the morning, you'll mostly have theory lectures, and in the afternoon, you'll have your practicals. After you come back from your college, you can rest for a little bit and then read the topics that were covered in today's lecture. Then you can have the entire rest of the evening to do whatever you want or whatever you don't want. We'll talk about this later. Let's go to exams, but before we go to exams, there's something really important that you all must do, and that is be visible to your teachers for the right things. Because as long as you're on their good side, even if you blunder during your exams, they'll think that, oh, he's a good kid, I've seen him in my lectures, and they'll help you out by asking you easy and biased questions in Viva, because ultimately it's up to them whether you pass or not. And trust me when I say this, you're more likely to pass if you haven't studied for an exam than if you're on a teacher's bad side. But if you choose to ignore this and eventually do end up on a teacher's bad side, then... Hello? हाँ मम्मी, दरअसल वो MBBS 6 साल का हो गया है तो... Okay, now let's get to the important part. Exams. You're gonna face a lot of exams throughout MBBS. It's just the way of life. The key rules that you must follow in order to pass are: first, attempt every single question, and second, subscribe to my channel. And second is fill out the pages. Ideally, for 12 marks, you want to have anywhere between 4 to 6 pages. For 7, 3 to 4 pages, and for 2, half a page should do it. Each subject has a set of visuals that you must draw, and drawing them properly almost guarantees that you pass. For anatomy, it's diagrams. Even if you don't write a single word in your entire paper, but if you have absolutely amazing, well-labeled and colorful diagrams, you're still highly likely to pass. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but ideally you want to have 1 diagram on every single page. Because ultimately, the teacher is trying to assess if you're oriented to the anatomy inside the human body, and he can't assess it in a paragraph. He can assess it if you draw the diagrams. Honestly, if you draw the diagrams, the teachers don't even look at what you've written. They just look at your diagram and go, oh, isko sab aata hai. 5 out of 10. For physiology, it's flowcharts. Take a look at this paragraph explaining homeostasis. Now take a look at this exact same paragraph in the form of a flowchart. Do you see the difference? You not only have to write less, but it also saves you time in your exams that you can utilize to find out the answers to other questions. And if you accompany these flowcharts with diagrams, you're absolutely golden. For biochemistry, it's cycles. Now I know that these cycles are very complex and difficult to memorize, but your seniors should have some very questionable mnemonics that will make them easier to remember. I am not revealing my mnemonics. Now let's talk about attendance. Because if you don't have 75% in theory and 80% in practicals, you're not allowed to give your university exams in the first place. Now in my college particularly, the teachers are very chill in terms of attendance, which is why we can get away by not attending a few lectures. And by few lectures, I mean a few months. But it can vary for different colleges. You may be the unlucky person that ends up in a college that is pretty strict about attendance. Either way, what I recommend is that you should attend at least every single practical. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you haven't performed them earlier, you're likely not going to be able to perform them in your exam either. Now let's talk about something that every single med student faces, and that is ragging. In first year, you already have a very hectic schedule, and it can become more hectic because of this personality development program. Now ragging used to be a very big issue in the past that involved a lot of violence, but nowadays is not that serious. If anything, it's more entertainment than harassment. Think of it as a fun activity with your elder brother or something that you're doing against your will, but still fun, I guess. Me and my friends recall these funny moments we had sometimes during these sessions and just laugh and joke about them all the time. We also have a really good relation with the seniors that used to hold these sessions. Now these same seniors are always the first ones to help us whenever we need anything. The conclusion is, as long as it's nothing personal and if you're joking about it by the end of the day, then it's fine. But if you feel like you're being targeted or if it's seriously affecting your mental health, then your first point of action should be to simply ask the senior ki, sorry sir, nahi ho raha. And if that doesn't work out, you can go to his senior. And if that doesn't work out, you can contact the authorities. Every medical college should have their own anti-ragging committee. I'm sure they'll take care of it. Now the last and the most important thing that you must do so that you can survive MBBS is have fun. Have a lot of fun. Yes, you heard me. I don't want you to waste your time locked up in a room reading anatomy all day. I want you to get out of your comfort zone, be social, make friends, go on trips with them, explore the city, find a hobby. It can be any hobby. You can play sports, you can play musical instruments, you can draw. Heck, you can even make YouTube videos if you want. Really, the sky's the limit. Now, the reason why I want you to have a hobby is so that your mind is occupied and you're distracted from the fact that you're all alone, away from your family in a new town. And who knows, you may actually become famous for that particular hobby of yours. And finally, when the exams come, work your ass off. But don't forget that first year is the golden period of MBBS. You've cleared your NEET, your parents are proud, your relatives are jealous, and you're at the center of it all, just living the dream. Enjoy it while it lasts, because someday you'll look back at these moments and wish that you could relive them. Thanks for watching till the end. If you have any doubts, you can leave them down in the comment section below, or you can DM me on Instagram. And if you found this video helpful, leave a like, subscribe, stay happy, stay healthy. I'll see you in the next one.